Have you ever wondered about finding a partner for your reselling business? What you should be looking for? What sort of partner you need? What will happen if you break up with said partner? Well, then this show is for you. Oh, you rookie. Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. I'm Prof Sales.
And I'm just Ask Kaaren.
And we are glad you're here. This channel is about our journey as entrepreneurs in primarily reselling, but also some other adventures as well on e-commerce platforms like eBay, Amazon, local offer-up apps like OfferUp, Craigslist, and so on. But we also talk about your mindset, being positive, and just how to be a better seller, a better entrepreneur.
It's funny. I didn't know where you're going with that. Like everybody's probably thinking, you're breaking up? What? Because people come in on different parts and they only get half of it. And then we get all kinds of crazy questions. Yes, we're breaking up.
That's not true. So if you have a question or comment, leave it down below. There's a live show going on right now. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So you can always join us live. But if you have a question or comment for later, just leave it. So today's show is about partnering up. Is that the right term?
I don't know. Life-changing, path-altering decision-making process. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many guys out there watching, at the other end of the sound of our voices, have had a partner in your business. Maybe you've thought about a partner. I'd be curious for those of you in the chat, let us know if you have a partner. If you've thought about partnering up with somebody in your business endeavors, and we are, I'd say lucky is the right word.
Blessed, gifted. I don't even know. It's funny. Justin says that we can have, I think he gave his partner to Adam.
He gave his partner. Okay. So we are actually in the process of forming a partnership. I would say it's already been formed with someone local to us.
And it's my fault that we're going to use a lot of pronouns instead of specifics because we haven't actually, as far as we're concerned, it's a done deal, but certain legal things haven't occurred yet. Like
legal things.
And it's not that we even need them. Like this person, I would just do it just on a handshake, right?
Right. But partnerships and so on come with certain responsibilities and come with certain legal attachments and so on and yada, yada, yada. And that's just the way our world works, unfortunately. But this is kind of tricky because a lot of people out there are probably going to ask us the question, why in the world would you guys want to partner up with anyone? And that's a good question. And I feel like we have a partnership already, Kaaren and I. Ha.
Is that what we call it?
That's what we call it. But we do, where we do work together towards a common goal. I mean, we obviously have a relationship outside of reselling, but we've created a partnership within it as well. And I think in a way we've been partnered up for a while now.
Right. And this is like this new thing that we're talking about doing is going to be like that partnership, but on steroids. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we actually have, when I thought about this opportunity, let me back up. When I thought about this opportunity to partner up with this person, lots of thoughts went through my head. And I've been in partnerships before in business and so on, and they haven't gone the best, to be quite honest. I can think of 2 instances in my life where I've been in business with people before, and they went poorly. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it all was their fault or whatever. I definitely own a good portion of the blame for not having certain expectations, not having certain things in place before we even started. And I was coming at these businesses one way and they were coming at it a different way. So it was probably destined to fail.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because one of the greatest strengths of this triad, we will call it, is that all 3 of us are coming from completely different places. And a big part of our conversation, our brainstorming, our strategizing, planning, etc., was to not only acknowledge that, but respect it and honor it, for lack of better, you know?
Yeah.
Because it seems to be a really cool fit, because the three of us are going to bring such a diverse, I don't know, toolbox to the table.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting to watch. And we want to be able to chronicle it here.
And we will.
As one of the things that we update you guys on, and we document this year. And after, you know, probably after this week, it'll be a lot less cryptic, because, you know, it's kind of like a 3 must.
Oh my gosh. Such a rookie.
Do you do this much?
I'm sorry.
What's the first rule
we had a minor,
of YouTube?
There was a slight timber here, an earthquake. That's what they call it.
We don't touch the microphone, and we look, it just went on my whole screen shook. We don't touch the microphone.
Please proceed.
We don't move the table. Right. So anyway, I don't even remember what I was saying.
Well, now that you're done. So no, but you made a great point there about
just one?
Well, one that stuck out because you said, you know, you come at this from different perspectives. And when I was in business with a couple people before, I realize now, looking back with reflection, that I wanted them to approach everything the way I did. And they didn't. But right? I mean, that's,
imagine that.
Well, and that's why, and I at the time I thought that was why the partnership didn't work out. Mm-hmm. But now I realize that that was an unrealistic expectation right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So this right off the bat, starting with this, it's like I realized that we're not all going to come at this the same way every time. There's going to have to be some give and take, for sure. Mm-hmm. And that's a strength, because Karen's absolutely right. We do all have different strengths and weaknesses and so on. And I think I can learn things from this other person. I know I can learn from Kaaren because we've already had this partnership. And now I'm in a position where I'm open to doing that, rather than thinking, oh, I have all the best ideas and you guys should just go along with it. Like that doesn't even really make sense. Why would you want to partner up with someone if you truly believed that only your ideas were valid? That doesn't make. Why would you partner up with them? What are you gaining?
True.
In that case, you should probably just go hire employees and say, hey, this is the way we're going to do this, and then, you know, go forward. But I think a true partnership is where you are able to realize the other person has perspectives and a unique set of skills that you don't possess, and you can use. They can strengthen your overall business because they can be strong in areas where you're not as strong.
Right.
And I think this person that we're partnering with has that. I mean, that was one of the things that we needed to. We kind of broke out like what do we each bring to the table. And we do all three of us bring something different to the table, for sure. Mm-hmm. And given that fact, I feel like we'll be able to leverage that to make a bigger business. So we're going to give you guys some of the details about what we're doing. Some of the details are still being worked out, and some of these details could change.
Right, and some of the details that we're actually going to ask for your help with, like the naming thing and stuff that we talked about. But you know, I saw the word. I have to digress for a second. I saw the word goodwill in the chat because everybody's talking about who's their partner and how they use that person, where they got them, etc. And we can't even really fully update you on something that happened with our local Goodwills because we don't entirely understand it yet. But the Southern Piedmont Goodwills, where we shop here in this area, has never really had anything other than Senior Day, which, thank you very much, neither one of us qualify for, although he gets asked all the time. But anyway, you do too.
That is not true.
It's true. But they ask for ID, so he'll never get it. Anyway, moving on. So our Goodwills have all of a sudden made a loyalty program, and it just started. And we signed up for it yesterday. Yeah. And it looks like it's roughly about a 10% discount. We were kind of unsure from the gal at the one we went to because she didn't really explain it very well. But I think in the moment you get a discount on the purchase, but then I think you also accrue points somehow.
Right.
But at some point we'll get to the bottom of that. But you know, hey, bonus for Charlotte area Goodwills.
No, absolutely. And that's a cool incentive. I mean, that's going to definitely save us a lot of money over the next several years. But All right, so let's talk about this partnership a little more in depth. So here's what we're thinking, just in general. We are going to merge our inventories together. Mm-hmm. We are going to create one eBay store and one centralized account and so on that we will run everything through. We will process and ship orders from the same location. We will photograph and inventory items from the same location. Sourcing will still be spread out in different areas and so on, obviously. We will, and at the beginning, it will be the three of us working in the business full time. I mean, there's no other way to say that. However, we do have an eye of the future towards hiring. I'm not really sure how many employees at this point.
We'll call it our small army. That's what we've been joking about so far.
And this is kind of interesting because how do you merge two separate eBay stores together?
Excuse me, that's our doorbell.
Must be a package. How do you merge two separate stores together? I don't know how easy that's going to be to do. We're talking about that. Like, that's kind of complicated when you think about it. Like, how do you get your items out of your current store into another store? Sorry, we have somebody at the door and they're delivering packages. So we've got to figure out how to merge our stores together. If anybody's got any tips for that, I am open to suggestions because that is going to be definitely a problem. What the heck is that?
It's my boxes.
Your boxes are what?
My eBay boxes.
Oh, Kaaren just got her eBay boxes. That's who that was at the door.
I have to open it, so keep talking.
Anyway, so I guess we'll get to see some eBay boxes.
Oh, cool.
All right, well, come show us if you're going to show us because time's a ticking.
Okay.
So anyway, so trying to figure out how to merge two stores together, that's going to be tricky. I'm not really sure.
It's like the Brady Bunch. That's how I look at it.
Okay, well, show it. Yeah, let's just show it.
You were talking about merging stores, so I waited.
I know, but then we got off on that subject, so people.
We have the nicest UPS man too.
We really do.
He's a sweet man. Oh, all right. So with our free eBay credit, we've not ordered boxes before. This one's going to be the smallest, and so we ordered boxes. Oh, that's why. Here, take that away. Take that away, Vanna. Oh, this is tiny, but it still has use. This will still be good.
You want me to get that or you?
Do you have a knife?
That's not a knife.
That's a knife.
There you go.
All right, so I ordered the 3 small, and this is the tiny one because I have a lot of. Oh, that's going to be lovely. So it's not quite big enough for a coffee mug.
What size is that? Someone asked 4x6x6?
Yeah, yep. This is the smallest freebie on eBay. But just to give you some. Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. And the shipping label will fit. Oh, the shipping label will fit right. What do you want me to do?
Well, it'll probably go like that.
It doesn't matter.
It does because they seal together.
But we're not shipping something right now. So anyway, there's the box. And like some relation, we're not really, it's not going to have enough. See, that's like a normal size coffee mug. Mm-hmm. It's not going to have enough space around the edge for packing and void and etc. So this will be for smaller tchotchke stuff. But yeah, because I have a bunch of collectibles and hard goody stuff that I need to. But it's about, what did I order? About 100 boxes? I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but 7,500 boxes, can't remember. But
so there you go. You guys got to see a live unboxing.
And there's 2 other sizes in there too that I really want to go look at, but I'll sit here and behave. So merging the 2 stores is kind of like the Brady Bunch coming together, right? You've got one family here, one family there, and they're just going to kind of, right?
Yeah. I mean, how do you just start taking down listings and then relisting them? Do you copy the info and photos? Like, I don't still have the photos from all my listings. I mean, they're just stored on eBay server. If I needed to take another photo, I could. This is going to be like, it's going to be a good kind of a challenge. Go ahead. You're going to say something.
I was going to answer questions. No, this size, probably the size. And I'm just going to go get the other 2 for a sec in a minute. But no. Oh, Pick with Joy. That's my middle name. Not Pick, Joy. But would that be good for a hat? This size, no. And Adam, we did not get eBay tape. That's kind of an inside joke. But no, we didn't get tape this time. So keep talking. I'm going to get 2 more boxes.
So Alex says, if you could start the new store and merge the inventory by percentage. So if store A has 50K worth of inventory and store B has 47K, take the difference and split it. So store B owes A 150K. Yeah, I don't know. 1500. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Like we obviously will take anything new and list that in the new store. So that's easy enough, right? We're going to have to create like a separate banking, separate PayPal, all that good stuff. And we don't want to take down our stores right away, obviously, because we're still selling things on them. Adam asked, what about feedback? That's a great question. That's a great question. Like, we'll have to generate feedback again. I don't think that's going to be crazy. Pac-Man said inventory would be a nightmare. Yeah, duplicate numbers. Partner doesn't track inventory the same way we do. So I think what's going to happen there is we're going to come up with some sort of blended system together. And that's a great question, because I don't know what that system is going to look like yet. And we have not discussed that in detail. But we're obviously, we can't have 2 separate inventory systems. We're either going to have to use that one or use mine or use some blending of the 2 or something totally different. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I've changed inventory systems before. It is a pain in the butt, but it's doable. And the time to do it is the beginning before you get too far down the road, so that you're not trying to blend an even bigger store. And we have, you know, I told you guys for 2018, our goal is growth, and this is going to be growth. Like, our goal is to grow our listings and so on. But one of the questions we have is, how big are we going to grow it? And I'm not sure, but it's got the potential to be pretty huge, and it already will be a bigger store, obviously. What do you got there? Let's get the boxing stuff done.
So pick with joy. This is probably your hat size. This is the second one up. So
yeah, that would fit a hat.
And we talked about this one having enough room on the sides. So look, in comparison, there. Oh, you can't even tell. Yeah. But this one is the 6x8x4. That's the one I was more excited about.
I think 6x8x4 would hold a hat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that should easily hold a hat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then this one was the square one, right? 8x8x8, I think.
It says it on it.
Does it? I can't read it.
Right there.
What does it say?
Or no, it doesn't. Right there. It says it is 8x8x8.
Yeah. Yep, that's the square. And this one I was least excited about because it's so darn big.
8x8x8. Well, it's okay. They know the flap right now.
We could fit your head in there.
Okay, so there's the boxes. Yeah, and splitting this inventory up is going to be a thing.
It's not going to be that big a thing. Like I look at it this way. We have some older listings that we've talked about redoing photos on anyway, or just jettisoning, right?
Which we might just sell locally or bundle,
right.
Or
hence jettison, get rid of, toss, whatever.
Yeah, we're going to start as clean as we can with this process for sure. And they've dwindled down some listings recently too, so that'll be a little simpler, but it's still going to be a big undertaking for sure. And putting together 2 different inventory systems is not simple. I've done it because I had an old one and then merged it into a new one. That effectively is putting 2 together, but it was not as big of a change as this one will be. So I'm not sure what we're going to do on inventory yet. Because we need to be able to go and find, like, it's all going to be in one store. So we need to be able to go and find that item using one particular system. That's it. Like, because to have 2 different systems operating in tandem, whew, I mean, that's great in the moment, but what happens when you grow? Mm-hmm. You know, and that is the plan. So it's like, you're going to just continue to have these 2 different systems. You're going to have to track both of them. I just think that's complicated, but I'm not really sure how we're going to do it. I mean, I still think we're going to have a SKU number of some sort.
Of course.
That kind of makes sense. And then that's going to have a location. It's going to live somewhere. And then we're going to need a way to have that recorded, you know, on our equipment. And then when it sells, to be able to compare it and see that, oh, it's located here. Is your new partner detail oriented? Need to make sure your styles mesh, Adam. Yes.
Yes. And we actually, we're on the same page most of the time. And we've even had a conversation. You said earlier that we don't have to agree on everything. But certain things we do, like certain things we've already decided without moving forward, we have to be unanimous on.
Right.
And one of the things we were going to talk with everybody today, kind of tongue in cheek, but seriously in the chat, we're looking for a new store name, and we've kind of kicked around some cheeky ones last night that made us laugh. And I can't say some of them because they were a little naughty out loud. But if you have some ideas for what we need to, because on our list of things to do, you know, we have to make this corporation, right? And so when you're incorporating, which is fairly easy to do, you can get an EIN number, like easy, fast, free.
Sure. Oh yeah.
But when you incorporate, you have to do things like name searches and make sure that your name is available.
Right.
And you have articles of incorporation. That's fairly easy. You can nab from the internet a very generic version of that. That's easy too. But we have three. What are the three things that we are working on?
Like, how do we break apart the partnership?
Oh yeah.
How does somebody leave it?
How to break up, right?
How to pay each other? Mm-hmm. Like, how are we going to get paid from this? What's our ownership equity each? Right. Which I think is we've all already sort of agreed on all that in principle.
Right. But what's the thing you're working on? I don't remember what it's called. It's not
the operating agreement.
Operating agreement, right? Yeah. And that encompasses all of those things. And it's going to be a fairly simple operating agreement, right?
Yes. The Seam store has an interesting novel solution to the two-store problem. And I don't know if this is eBay. I don't know if eBay allows this, but that's an interesting solution. The Seam store says, sell all the old inventory to your new store one at a time and leave yourself the feedback, then relist with better picks. That's amazing. That's interesting. I don't know if you can do that or not, but that gives you a bunch of feedback on your new store. That would kind of be like bogus feedback though, right? I mean, you're leaving feedback for yourself.
No, who better to give feedback than whence it came, right? Who better to say how wonderfully awesome the entire experience was than the creator of said experience.
That's a great, you know, I bet somebody's done that at some point. Somebody's done something like that.
Well, somebody's done all kind of shenanigans. Probably.
You know, I don't think feedback though is the end all be all of eBay like it used to be. Mm-hmm. You generate it pretty quickly, and the vast majority of it's going to be good as long as you do what you say you're going to do. So,
and it's interesting that feedback number, because I was looking at like some of the sellers that you follow and I follow, and you know, they happen to be our friends or our family or whatever. And my number for my little baby store, somebody else's number who hasn't sold anything has like a 241 or something. How is that even possible?
I don't know.
Is it because they've been on Amazon for 10 years or something? Or
maybe
eBay for 10 years or whatever?
Are you guys going to do a warehouse? Yes.
Yes, we are.
So you guys will get the physical space tour, not a tour of space, a tour of a physical space.
Yeah, touring space would be kind of...
That would be cool, but we're not that advanced. We're not Elon Musk here. Are you guys going to do a warehouse? Yes, we will. We'll definitely have a warehouse. We may have office space with it as well. Not sure yet. There's a couple things in flux about that we're going to find out a little bit more about by the end of this week. But yes, that is a plan. Like, there's no way... I will be glad to get it out of our home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting to be, yeah.
Honestly.
And it's always been an issue because you guys know we have shoes in our kitchen. Like, we also have shoes and other things in our garage. But our inventory, the jeans inventory takes up an entire bedroom upstairs.
Right.
And even that's pretty packed.
Tight. Like, it's couldn't really put any more fixtures in there.
To the point where we talked about switching our ridiculously large bedroom into that room and putting the jeans in that other one. But we don't like moving. Like, the less you touch it, we do subscribe to that. So we're trying not to move things like 10 times to see what fits best. But we have shoes here, shoes there, hard goods there. And so, yes, this warehouse is going to, and here's Karen's take on it, right? So yes, we're going to get it out of the house, but this partnership, this relationship, this new way that we're going to go is also going to allow us, first of all, it's going to necessitate employees, which we talked about a lot at the end of 15, end of 16, beginning of 17. But because, we follow things to the letter, it really wasn't going to be feasible for us to bring, say, a contracted employee into our home. I mean, there's rules about how you pay people and how you utilize them, et cetera. So that never worked. But in having this separate space, we'll be able to do all the thingies that we wanted to do. But remember, we both are coming at this with a teacher's heart, right? Always wanting to give something back. So I'm looking at it as an opportunity to further, teach our friends, our family, and, Joe Public, whoever we end up hiring at some point, how to fish.
Right.
A lot of our conversation in talking about this partnership and deciding how we're going to form it and all has really revolved around you can either give a man a fish or you can teach him to fish.
Right.
And I'm all about teaching somebody how to fish. And this is going to give us a place. Like, imagine we could invite you guys to come to our warehouse and see it.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to,
cool.
Like, we've shown the shoe rack and everything, but that's in our kitchen. But this would be a way for us to have this space.
Right. So here's a couple other questions people have been asking, and I don't want to miss them. Is it a 50-50 deal, or are they taking more because they're bigger? So we're going to talk about how that's going to break out, but our plan right now is to be equal partners, the three of us. And the reason is because we're going to all be invested into it full time. So Kaaren's going to work in it full time. I'm going to work in it full time, and our partner's going to work in it full time. And we figure in the long run that will kind of even out in terms of, what it'll look like. And obviously you've always got to be cognizant of somebody, making sure they feel like they're valued and they're not putting in more effort than you are, whatever that looks like. That's going to be discussions we're going to have, just going down the road, but effectively we're basing it on an equal split. Can you put 3 stores under the same umbrella? And if you really want to make just one store, just transfer slowly. We could do that. But the problem is, it's like you're having to deal with 3 separate PayPals or 3 separate banking accounts. It gets kind of complex at tax time. It's a lot simpler if you can start out with one corporation, one account, one PayPal, one store. Everything's tied all together. Then at tax time, you're not trying to pull in documents from here. And was this a personal expense? Was this? I'm still going to keep my corporation because there's other things I do outside of eBay that it will still be used for. But everything eBay selling wise will go through this new one.
What about errands? Will you take consignments?
Where is that?
Right there. I already said it.
We missed one before that, but will you take consignments? I don't know.
Maybe.
Not sure. Not in the plan at the moment, but I don't know. We'd all have to agree on it. What is the advantage of adding a partner? That's a great question, Clarence Ninja. I think there's several advantages, and it depends on the partner.
And we talked about it last. I asked you. I said, so people are going to want to know, why are we getting a partner?
Well, one reason is they have strengths and skills that you don't have, and so that can expand you into other areas and ways. Not that you're going to necessarily be as good as them, but you're going to be able to leverage those strengths together. A second is you have another set of eyes and ears and hands to do things. 2 people are usually more than twice as productive as 2 single people working separately. There's a benefit to people working together on something that just creates a synergy and this kind of collaborative effort that is just hard to put your finger on. Now, also, if they're not good working together, it can cause a negative synergy, so to speak. But I don't think that's going to be a problem in our case. And we also have a desire to help and connect with other people. And I think that this particular person we have developed a good connection with, and that's going to continue. And I think, all being said, it all kind of made sense. And the same on their part, I think, as well. Like there's very few people that I would even consider partnering with, much less actually partnering with. And it's a small list for lots of reasons, mainly because I don't think they necessarily view it all the same as I do. Like, I don't think we would get along as partners. And that's not a negative reflection on them. It's just people are different. You have to come at things. You can have differences, but you have to have enough common ground that you can get along. And that's one of the reasons why we talked about, hey, we need to make decisions unanimously. If one person disagrees, we don't do it. That way, you know, it's never like it's the other two ganging up on one, because that could happen. So anyway,
is Mary the only one that's given us names? Because I'm LOLing, LMAOing about all her hot bottoms and more.
Hot bottoms and more. Wow.
Britches and bobos. Actually, the word britches came up a couple of times last night. Sup, britches? I like that one.
Wow. Amazon says definitely recommend a warehouse with office space. Easier to grow when employees can be separated according to tasks.
So another reason.
Why are you raising your hand?
So I'll get a turn to speak.
Oh
so another reason to partner is that we really believe that you can scale this up.
Oh yes.
And we've kind of reached our max unless we do something different and go somewhere different. And I know we talked about living the mobile nomad life, and we're still going to do that. And I think we mentioned even on our last show that this is going to give us a hub, and we're going to be able to scale this business. And we've always wanted to do it. We just kind of hit some roadblocks that prevented us from doing it in a way that we thought it should be done. But this is an opportunity that we can scale it up, and we totally believe it can be done. Yeah. And it's not only going to be limited. Well, I don't know if limited's the word, but we're not only going to be doing eBay out of this space. I mean, that's going to be a good part of the beginning of it.
Right.
But we're also going to be doing other online-y kind of stuff out of there as well.
Yeah. Hashtag warehouse party. Yep, absolutely. Have you secured the warehouse? You may want to make sure it's behind a fiber-fed VRAD. Nice. I haven't heard VRAD since my AT&T days, so thanks for bringing that back. But yeah, the one that we have in mind already does have internet access. I don't think it'll be any issue for what we're doing. Let's see. I would start fresh and donate the business to Ben. Let him give you 50% of old store's profits. Yeah, there we go. He wouldn't be able to keep it up. He doesn't have the time, or nor does he have the training for it either. I don't think that would be a viable option.
No, and Kelly also says that we would get so much accomplished if the kids would help. It's really hard to motivate your own children to help you in your own business.
Yeah.
We found that my son, Ben, is actually more motivated to go help other people. Like, he's worked for Luke of Endless Entrepreneurs, and they got along and still get along great.
Yeah.
And because it's Luke, it's not Mom, it's not Jason, it's, you know, and it's
even though we would have paid him more, maybe not more than Luke. Luke pays really well, but
he really does.
But some of the other jobs,
I don't want to work for Luke.
It wasn't even just money. It was just, who knows, teenagers, you know, whatever.
Motivating your own kids to help you, it's a fine line. We have, who is it in our Facebook group? Their son is young and has been sourcing and is a sourcing, like, he kills it. But he started really, really young with, you know, like $3, and he turned it into 90, and then he turned it, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And that is a wonderful success story. With Ben, he's a teenager. He's almost 18 now, and he's got so much other things going on. I think he appreciates knowing how to do it. And in his mind right now, it's, I know how to do it. And if I need it somewhere down the line, it can be something I can fall back on. And he knows about this partnership and what's going on. And we offered, but his capacity right now is maybe to help clean out the warehouse, physical labor to move boxes and furniture and stuff.
Right.
And he would have some input on photographs because he is a lighting and photography genius. So he'll have some input in how we set that up, I'm sure.
You can have up to 8 stores under one PayPal account. That's true, but it's not so much the eBay part that is the challenge. It's the tax and keeping things separate part.
Would add a whole bunch of more work.
We actually spent some time on the phone with my accountant yesterday, and our partner was on the call as well, and just discussing some best ways to go about this. And just with every factor, it's just, we want to keep our corporation. So it just made sense to form a new one with our partnership. So that's kind of what we're thinking, just from all aspects of it, ownership too. If we're going to do that, because somebody said here, we'll get back to Aaron's question in a moment, but somebody said you could keep the store with the best feedback and change the name. That's true, but there's some other factors outside of this that would apply to that, that we would have to take into consideration for that, like in terms of the structures of the stores and so on. I'm not necessarily opposed to that, and that may be something we could do, and we might just change the name. So that is a possibility. But Aaron said, if you found a home run item, Kaaren, would you sell it for yourself or the business? I already know your answer.
I would sell it for the business because it is in my best interest for our triad to succeed. Like, and I think we're all three coming at this with that same exact attitude.
Right.
So yeah, Aaron, I know that, I don't know if that sounds too unicorns and rainbow or whatever, but I mean it. I mean, why would I want to sell it on my own? We're already doing enough outside of eBay, and this partnership, like that's now going to take a lot of our time for a while, right?
Oh,
so
sure.
We're not going to have a lot of energy to do some of the other things that we were already doing. So no, if we find a home run and we already have it in place, like we already have a plan to do things outside of just that, that's really exciting to me. But home runs go towards the business, period. And somebody, Clarence Ninja, I think, asked about, would we sell locally from the warehouse as well? Yes. And immediately we've talked about selling, like having, what do I call it? I call it a warehouse yard sale. So in the interest of helping us purge our inventory, like maybe once a month, once a quarter, we kind of blow it out. Like we open up the dock of the warehouse and we sell whatever.
Right.
Whatever's left, whatever we want to move, maybe even some of the items that we have in bulk anyway. But yeah, we want to use whatever space we end up, we want to use it to the max cap. So we're going to be running the eBay out of it. We want to be able to sell from it, not retail, and not on a regular basis, because we're going to be running around and doing all our things in there anyway. Yeah. We don't want people walking in and out on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're not going to, right. And you wouldn't want to do it all the time, because then it could be considered a retail space, and it's probably not zoned for that. A warehouse is not going to be zoned to be a retail commercial space. It's zoned differently. So we don't want to do anything to, violate our lease, obviously. Let's see. Changing the store name doesn't change store ownership. True. We'll figure that part out, but I agree. Like, I just think it might just be simpler to start with something fresh, believe it or not. But I don't know. But it's going to be a little bit of a transition period. It's going to take some time to kind of push all that through.
Well, and we haven't talked about it in a while, Kelly, but if you know anything about us, there's no drama here. So I'm just going to leave it at that. As far as reseller drama train, I'm just going to plead ignorance there as if it doesn't exist, because we certainly don't allow the drama and the negativity here. It's just, it bogs us down. It's a waste of time.
The reseller drama train has a lot of stops, and it tends to run year round. So,
and honestly, like, I know we hate talking about it and we don't, but the more time you spend like wrapped around anybody else's drama, guess what? It's less time you're spending on your business. And like some of the things that have happened over the last couple of years, I'm flabbergasted. Like I'm speechless at it. Like
we could have been pulled into them on several occasions, but no.
I mean, why? That's just silliness. So
yeah. Let's see here. What other questions? You guys have had great questions today, so thank you very much for that.
The Triad Superstore with an ARG on the end. Alex, nice to see you back again.
Keep same accounts in partnership. Just get new company PayPal account that all money goes into.
Yeah, Mary, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, and the bank account as well, because technically, even if we just kept one of our stores and used it, we could write an agreement to say that, well, even though it's all going to this PayPal, it's still in this business name. We could do that. But I don't know. I'm going to defer to my accountant on a lot of this stuff, because he kind of sees the back end of it, where the IRS or the state goes, wait a minute, you've got 2 or 3 corporations, and this one's pulling money into this one. And it gets really complicated. And and what about payroll? Like paying each other? Like if you're forming a corporation, for the most part, if you want to get the benefits of, say, having a pass-through corporation, you have to pay yourself. You have to actually pay yourself. You have to put yourself on payroll. So that brings in a whole other layer of complexity that, quite frankly, I don't feel like dealing with. I mean, it's a pain in the butt, no doubt about it. Like, you know, having a business structure and being legit is a pain in the butt. It's unfortunately the world we live in, and you have to jump through some of these hoops. And I'll jump through as many as I have to, no more.
and he'll complain about it in private.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe not even always in private.
So I had to like every time I see a funny, you guys are cracking me up. So Alex said Triad Super Destiny House of Awesome. Does that TSDHA? Good. It doesn't spell something naughty. But then Mr. Sadie, I'm sorry, you have to read that one out loud because I'm dying.
Does this warehouse have a basement for the underground poker room? Sadie, we'll talk. The underground poker. It would have to be underground in our area. Unfortunately, it's poker games for money are not legal in the state of North Carolina, unless it's at the casinos
or in our basement.
In our basement, we don't have a basement.
Justin Pac-Man says, is there enough profit for all of the thingies, all of the overhead, including payroll for you three, more employees, warehouse, utilities, etc.? Yes, and then some, or we would not be doing this.
And that's a great question. And I was just thinking about that, Justin, today. And the reality is we're bringing together two businesses which supply payroll and have some ability to grow within them. And we have some other revenue streams as well. So it's not, eBay is going to be a big chunk, and percentage wise, it's probably going to be even a larger chunk now going forward. But I also think given our growth, excuse me, our growth potential and our growth goals for this year, I don't have any concerns about that. When you're selling things at a 50% margin after your cost of goods and your direct overhead to eBay, you can make a lot of things work, quite honestly. And I think we can even do better than that. Believe it or not, we have some ideas about moving in some other directions too, which will simplify the process, and some other businesses we can build off of this. So more about that down the road because we're not there yet. But I think it will. Like, I don't think it's going to be, I even think too, you know, we can downsize our home at some point too, which actually makes us live a little bit cheaper as well. So.
Well, and it's almost, sometimes we sound a little nerdy when we, you know, we talk about mindset or growth or goals or potential. But we've talked a lot over the last couple of days when we've been putting this all together about efficiencies. It all comes down to efficiencies.
Yeah.
And every way that we can make ourselves more efficient. And we're all three of this coming at it with our own efficiencies already, right?
Right.
But this new business is going to be even more streamlined. And like, that's exciting to me because we're taking these two models, and honestly, eBay wise, you guys are pretty similar.
Yeah,
I think.
Sure.
And we're sitting here and it's kind of funny because we're talking about how we're going to do certain things. And it's like one voice seems to be saying the same thing. So we don't even have to hash out, if you will, some of the more basic things like, well, how are we going to list this, or what's our return policy going to be, or what's our whatever policy going to be, because we've already streamlined that on both sides.
It's already done. We've already made those mistakes and figured that out.
Right. So I mean, that, like, the efficiencies, that's intriguing to me because we're going to have the most efficient efficiencies ever.
I mean, it goes back to, if you're a sole owner in your business, which I know a lot of people listening to this video right now are, you should still strive to be as efficient as possible. No doubt about it. Like, in everything you do, your photos, your listing, your shipping, your sourcing, your packing, your inventory, whatever. But if you have someone helping you, an employee, a partner, a spouse, whomever, a family member, you will find that if you can train them in those efficiencies and so on, you will get even more effective. Things will take you even less time than they did before, because now you've got another set of hands. Like, when you're tired, they're not. When they're tired, you're not. When you're effective, they aren't sometimes, and sometimes you're not effective when they are. So you'll find that now, like, the business won't have quite as many valleys as it had before, where it all depended on your energy level, your perspective. Now you have somebody else there that, in a moment of weakness, in a moment when maybe you're not feeling up to it, you're sick, you've got a cold or something, this person can help pick up some of the slack. That's something that we will benefit from with this partnership too, that now with 3 people together, we will be able to effectively, go after these tasks the business needs, even if one of us is not really feeling up to it, or there's something else going on. That's different too.
Imagine this: we can actually take a vacation. We can have a sick day. We hear so often from resellers that, you set yourself up for, say, a 1-day turnaround. If you're sick, or heaven forbid, there's a family emergency or whatever, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can do. And we got
put your on vacation, increase your handling time.
Right. And we're not doing this because, let's say, we're just coming off of a month of sickness. Like we've been sick in this household for the last couple of months, arguably, but
true.
We were down and out and just non-functional for a period. That's not it. But imagine, and that's one of the things we talked about, you and I, last night, is that it can be a very lonely job. And imagine this, I don't know, what is it? What's the word? Comfort, confidence, whatever, in thinking, oh, so-and-so can take care of it. Like now we have, instead of it just being 1 person or 2 people, we have 3 people plus that can, ship the orders or take the photographs.
Right.
And our goal is to very quickly clone ourselves. Like we're not going to be able to make another exact Jason or another exact Kaaren or another exact
mystery person.
Yeah. And Wes, we can't tell everybody just yet. But our goal is to start creating, and people that talk about having trouble with employees, you control that. I mean, you control what they learn, how they learn, their productivity, their checks and balances. So we're going to have a role in that as well. And I don't know, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of efficiencies if you partner with the right person or persons. And again, it's not going to be perfect. We know there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be roadblocks, things to overcome. That's a given, no matter what. But I see way more advantages with this particular partnership than I do negatives. And I think it's going to help all of our businesses grow. We're going to grow one really large business instead of 2 just, decent businesses. So
where does Clarence Ninja live?
I don't know.
Where do you live, Clarence Ninja? Because the question is, y'all gonna sublease office space for other resellers? It's funny you asked that. Because one of the spaces that we're looking at may not be big enough to do that, but it is definitely something that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Because that speaks to how we can also help other resellers, right? So no, again, just like the consignment idea, leasing space or having this sort of reseller hub is also on the table. I was going to say the same exact thing.
But the very next thing we're doing is pulling ourselves together in this one unit. That's gonna take a lot of time and energy to get right at first. So, and from there we'll build out.
Yeah, and Vintage Philly, that's 3 ways, because we're coming at it from 3 different places.
Yeah, three different ways. I mean, because we're going to be 3 different partners. Kaaren is going to effectively be full-time in the business. So
I am.
You're going to have to get paid somehow.
It's about time.
What? That's not even true.
It sounds funny though, doesn't
it? Does the partner have good connections with wholesale and or Amazon that will help maximize profits? Maybe you could have 1 person over eBay, 1 over Amazon. We have talked about in our 2018 growth goal that Amazon is definitely an opportunity for us. Having a warehouse would allow us to do all kinds of Amazon processing that we cannot as easily do right now. To do thrifting, if we wanted to do RA, if we wanted to do private label, if we wanted to do, a wholesale model and had to store things and prep them, we could do all that a lot easier in a space than we can do here in our home. It's difficult in your home. It's possible. It's just a little bit more difficult in some ways.
Well, and we're looking all the time. So even if we came upon a great auction or pallet sale or what's the thing where you buy them out of what are those big box things called? Gurney Dolly. What are they called?
A Gaylord.
Gaylord. Ding, ding.
Gurney.
Even if it's the G in Gaylord. It's the way my brain works. But even if we came upon just the best deal of something like that, we couldn't take advantage of it. We have
nowhere to put it.
Remember, some of you guys might remember that big book deal. Like thousands of books. Like it literally took over the garage.
Yeah.
And while it was grand, one, it was a slug to get through them, but we can't do that out of our home. So now all of a sudden, when we get this space, we're going to start being able to look into that again. And that's another.
We can pull a bigger load of items in there. Like if we were buying some pallets, for instance, and process them and have room to do it and have room to maneuver. Whereas doing that here in our house would be virtually impossible. Not impossible. Like even Luke would tell you with the bulk buy he did for the LL Bean pants. And his home, I don't think is quite as big square footage. The home he was in, he's in a new home now, but it's not quite as big as this one. It was a struggle. Like it took up his entire garage and he had to finagle things around and he made it work, to his credit.
Yeah.
I mean, he knocked it out of the park.
We were there when it all got crammed into that.
Right. We were there the day it got delivered. I'm like, but you know, it was not an ideal situation for being able to process those kinds of items. If he'd had a 1,000 square foot warehouse, piece of cake. But trying to put in a 1-car garage, 4 pallets stacked, 7 feet high or whatever they were, not so much. So,
yeah, there's only so much we can do here, and we'd like to do bigger, better thing. Better. There's my word of the year. Ding, ding. Everybody drink.
Everybody drink. Let's see. Are we leasing the warehouse space or buying? Leasing. Definitely not buying. I just don't think buying would be the right move, and especially with a brand new business. I mean, if we had business and a track record, maybe we were able to get credit, for instance, to do it, that would be the one case I would put debt on a business if it made sense to continue in that location. But those are not the situation on the ground. So definitely leasing.
Yeah. So Tennessee Picker, you're absolutely correct. And right now in our house, those spaces, Tennessee Picker says you can set up a dedicated space for each process, right? Picture, shipping, inventory, etc. And right now in the space here in our home, those spaces are kind of doing double duty sometimes.
This like table this is setting on.
I was going to say the same exact thing. We take photos from this table. We put the camera on one of our photography tables, and those are the lights. Well, yeah,
you can't see them, they're off camera.
That we use for taking pictures. And we actually, when we went to one space yesterday, we were talking about how, oh, this area will be perfect. And we're talking about actually building in a special photo. Like it's going to be really cool.
Right. And having, building a photo area instead of just, the way most of us do it, we just try to throw it all together. It's not that expensive or crazy to build a small area. Like, I don't mean build out walls necessarily, but just to create an area where the lighting is right, the backdrops can be put up, and you have room. I mean, you have room. I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's like in a lot of cases, you're trying to cram things onto tables and dining room tables and kitchen floors and all kinds of stuff. And even here, when we created this room to be more about photos and video, it's been great, but it's still not ideal because we can't control all the light around the outside as easily as you would think.
And the one thing that you're absolutely right, Tennessee Picker, not only is it annoying, but it's also problematic. Every time we move our lights, we risk breaking them because I have I admit it. I stepped on a cord or tripped on something and I broke a couple of light bulbs. Whatever, moving on. I also replaced them.
I'll take that out of your pay.
Whatever. Yeah. I also replaced them. I bought new ones because, that's how I roll. But every time we move them, we risk damaging them or damaging something else. So a dedicated space, like I think we're more processing and shipping and listing you can certainly finagle that a little bit, but to have that's my dream come true. And somebody asked about, the experience that our partner has, and they've bought truckloads full of stuff. They have, mad photo skills as well. And we're going to be for me, making this dedicated photo space is going to be one of the best things that we can do. And it's so exciting. That's going to be wonderful.
Just being able to spread out a little more and have room to really run the business and not be constantly trying to step over and around things and know where to put new inventory that's come in. Man, I mean, I just think the processes we can build out of this, because even their space was not ideal, even though they had a larger space because it was cut up so much. Yeah. We're looking at really a large contiguous space that's not cut up, that doesn't have all these walls everywhere in odd positions where you have to walk around all the time. I mean, when you have that kind of space, and it's got vertical space too, we could literally double the space in that warehouse that we're looking at by building a second level. And that's something we'll consider for sure, because we getting double the space, but are still paying the same amount. So that's a huge win. I mean, you can't beat that kind of pricing, but that's a possibility as well. So, my wife wants to eat dinner in our dining room someday. Yeah, it's a thing. Let's see. Thoughts?
Hi, Hank. Thanks for coming. And you have the most amazing space. Hank just redid her everything space, and it looks amazing.
Oh, nice.
So, well, that was over the last couple of months, not like yesterday. But...
Thoughts on LED lighting? Yeah, use it. I mean, LED lighting is great. These aren't really LEDs, but
no, they're full spectrum.
But you could use the LED, sure.
Yeah. Just
as long as you can keep lighting consistent and you can control the intensity of it, and of course the angle, obviously, then you can make pictures pretty much work.
You can make beautiful pictures too. Happy trees.
Vertical's the way to go. So, but yeah, guys, so it's going to be an exciting year. Growth. 2018, that's what it's all about, and we are growing.
And we're gonna still do the other kind of videos. We're not going to only be talking about this, right. If people are curious, but we will. A lot is happening in a short amount of time. It's kind of a whirlwind around here, so we are going to kind of walk everybody through that process, because I think it has some value. We're like some of you, going from being a home reseller now to taking it up a notch and doing something bigger and better and growing. And, like Jason said, that's our goal. Our only goal for this year is growth. And it kind of fell in our lap, and we can't turn it down. We just can't.
No, we can't. And we're not. And it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys get to come along. And I'll still be doing my crypto investing as well, for those you're curious about that. I know some of you in the chat are. And I'll be giving you an update on that. So it's been a good year so far. All right, guys, but that's going to do it for this video. So thanks for coming out today. We really appreciate it. Kaaren, what should they do if they enjoyed this video?
Well, they should choose the like button, Prof. I have no idea what that was. Guys, I need new voices. Wrong. Choose the like button, big boys.
That's like Mae West again. There she is.
But like congested Mae West.
Congested Mae West.
Yeah.
Nice.
Almost fully healthy. So thanks for coming. We'll be back. No telling what we're going to talk about, but it's always the good, sometimes the bad, working always toward growth. So
usually not the ugly. You missed that one. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh. Yeah, our hair looks good most of the time.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll be back on Friday to see you guys. So
thanks for coming. And as always, this is Just Ask Kaaren
and Prof Sales
saying good sales to you. Oh.